Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in another video tutorial about chaos destruction system. In this episode we'll use of course the latest version of Unreal Engine, which is 5.0.1, and I think I will make a new project because it's always a new version when I release a tutorial. But yeah, I want to show you how to do fragmentation in this episode, because it's a really important aspect of the destruction. It's an art, and depending on the fragmentation, the destruction can look totally different. Well, in real world, fragmentation happens during crashing of something, but in games and in chaos, at least for now on, we need to pre-fragment objects before the destruction, because it's too time consuming and it's also an art, so we just want to have control on it. What's really cool about destruction in chaos is that it's multi-level. What that means is that we have clusters. Maybe I'll just show you a picture to make it more clear. Let's say we have a cube, and we can fragment it, but there can be more levels of this fragmentation. So pieces that break can break again and again and again, and therefore the destruction usually looks a lot better. What's more, it's also sometimes even a huge performance gain, because there are less pieces to calculate their position and rotations for the physics engine. So level 0 is the top level, is the base object without any fragmentation. Level 1 is like the first level of fragmentation, the biggest possible pieces. Level 2 is one step smaller, and so on. You can have as many levels as you want, I think, but usually it's not more than like 3 or 4, because it's just enough. I usually use 2 or 3, depending on the object. The hierarchy on the picture shows hierarchy of geometrical pieces of the cube. So on the top level we have one piece that consists of 6 fragments, and each of them consists of a few fragments that consist of even more fragments. And so on the scene there is actually 100 objects, but they can be like sticked together, creating so-called clusters into bigger pieces and the final object. And the level tells us on which stage of destruction the parts actually are. So let's maybe get into Unreal. Let's create an object. I have prepared a small model for this episode. It's a concrete block. So I'll just go to the project. Let's go to content folder. I will post it in the description so you can download it and use it freely. Content. Yeah, let's make a folder, models, and copy paste it here. So let's import the FBX file, and where is it? Models. Beautiful concrete block. Perfect. Oh, we can change the material to maybe concrete. No, it's not this that I wanted. Concrete panels. Oh, concrete panels. It's cool. So yeah, let's move it into the world. So we have a beautiful concrete block. and we will use it in our game, because I don't know if you remember, but we are going to create a cool game with chaos through this tutorial series. So okay, let's play it. Actually, it's a bit huge, but we can scale it down a little bit. Let's use it like that. So now it's just a simple object. It's not a chaos object, it's just a 3D model. Oh, let's save everything, because with chaos you need to know that everything likes to crash, and chaos is still in beta, so just save every minute. And let's go to fracturing mode. Yeah. So we need to click this new button to convert our geometry to so-called geometric collection. In chaos, everything, well, not everything, but everything that is fragmented needs to be a geometric collection. There can be also static meshes that well, collide with the geometric collections, but well, usually we make a geometric collection. So let's make a folder GC for our concrete block. Let's call it GC concrete block. Yeah, let's create it. Alright. So as you can see, this object is a part of the simulation, but it's boring and we don't have any fragments. So let's make it right now. So I will show you different fragmentations. Here we have different fracture modes, different types of fracture, and here is uniform, cluster, which is like a more chaotic one, radial, it's good for glass breaking or something, planar, so you can cut with any plane you want, slicing, brick, which has a bug, but I will tell you later about it. Mesh fracture, so you can slice a mesh with another mesh, and new custom fracture mode that we are not going to dive into this tutorial. It's gonna be later. It's a new advanced mode to make even more weird fractures. It's gonna be easier to show it on a demo. So this is uniform Voronoi, this is clustered Voronoi, radial, planar, custom mesh, brick, and slice. Well, this concrete block is concrete, so let's I think uniform will be pretty realistic. Uniform fragmentation, uniform, and basically all the settings are just well, you can play around to set different things, but well, the only thing that we really care about is this min and max Voronoi sides. That is how many pieces are going to be created. So right now we have a preview. Well, it was better in earlier versions, now it's not that visible, but screw it, what can we do? This is a preview of our fragmentation. If we go to common fracture and change seed, then we will get different you know, different seed for the fragmentation, the same fragmentation. But if we want more pieces, like 200, then just change this. When we hit fracture, it's going to be a selected object is going to be fractured with all the settings. but remember to click the piece that you want to fracture or select all before. So let's make, I don't know, let's say 10 objects. Let's fracture it and cancel just to select none to see it. And yeah, if you increase explode, then you can see all the pieces apart. It's easier to see the result with this option. It's really nice. It's just for editing, because as I said, it's an art to do the fragmentation too. So you remember the levels. So level 0 is our base object, and level 1 is the fragmentation. Here you have also statistics, how many pieces on different levels are there. And well, let's hit play. It's just it's not breaking. And why it's not breaking? That's a question that is actually easy to answer, because our damage threshold is too high. Well, damage threshold is an amount of force that needs to be applied to a piece to make it break to the next level. So to break the root piece, to break this root piece of which is on level 0, we need 500,000 strength to be applied to that piece to make it break to level 1, which is 10 pieces, because we have just one piece on level 0. And if we decrease that, where is that? Clustering. If we decrease it to, let's say, 5,000, then it's just breaking. So you can define damage threshold for each level, and that's pretty cool, because you can make a wall that is destroyed easily, but when it falls apart, these big chunks are not that easy to break. Or in the other way, you can make it hard to break, but the smaller the pieces are, then it's easier to crush them. So that's pretty cool, but there is also a nice option to disable clustering. And then no clustering is applied to this object, so all these pieces are just apart. And all the damage threshold is ignored. Okay, but let's say we don't like this fragmentation, and let's make another one. So we just need to click this reset button and everything is you can start from scratch, start designing. Okay, let's fracture it one more time. Let's say we want 2 levels of fragmentation, right? So let's fracture it into 10 pieces. Click it, fracture. So now we have something like this. And now let's say we want 200 pieces. And let's select all and fracture it again. In the end we have 300 pieces, because we had 10 pieces already. So it's like when you select all the objects and cut it into 200 pieces, it doesn't take into account the pieces that were there already. So all these cuts are like taken into account, and you know, it's because of the previous fragmentation. So level 0, level 1 and level 2. Let's maybe see how it works. Great. Well, as you can see, there are bigger chunks that breaks later. We can even increase it to, I don't know, 7. Oh, perfect. That looked really nice. But to be honest, I never fragmented like that because it doesn't look that realistic. When you look closely, these big pieces are kind of boring. They are just simple polygons, and I will show you a method to make it far more realistic. So let's reset it, and we will make it the other way. So let's make 200 or let's make even 300 clusters at start. Select all, fracture. Yeah, it's always around. Okay. So we have 270 objects, and now, of course, they are going to break apart, all of them. Now we are going to make clusters from these little pieces. So let's go to cluster auto. You enter the number of clusters that you want. So let's say we want, yeah, I think 10 is nice. It's fine. Select all and auto cluster. And now we have another level. It's like it has been sticked together, these small pieces. So level 1 and level 2. And now, as you can see, it looks far more interesting because the edges are not so straight. Because actually these chunks, when you look closely, consist of the smaller chunks, not like the previous method, that the smaller chunks were just bigger chunks sliced even more. So now it looks a lot better, and I always do it in this way. Perfect. There is an option to disable. Let's go to general. Show bone colors. When you turn it off, you can see the texture. Great. Okay, I will go out of the fracture mode. We don't need it anymore for now on. Let's say we want to change the texture to make it even more interesting. Let's take concrete grime. Well, actually, we wanted the opposite. Yeah, this one. This way. So now, the texture inside of the object is different, and well, that's a lot better. Perfect. So we have a really nice concrete block. And I need to mention that if you use older version of Unreal or even Unreal 4, and then you need to double click this geometry collection object, and there will be option that is totally in totally different place right now to change collision type and implicit type. Well, it was always level set in here. Well, default was box, but it was supposed to be level set to make a realistic collisions. But in this version, it's just changed. It has changed to convex, and level set doesn't really work. There are no collisions. and I am definitely going to investigate it later, but for now on just leave it as convex. So just be aware that you need to change it to level set in previous versions. Subscribe, like the video, and see you soon.